Hello, beautiful, amazing party people. It's me, Carrie Sullivan. I'm here. I'm alive. I know it's been a hot minute since I last spoke with you guys, and so I wanted to give you guys an update. I'm here in beautiful Boulder, Colorado. As you can see here, the mountains are actually the other way. I'm here at a bird sanctuary. This is a frozen pond. So yeah, a lot of interesting events have led me here, and so I wanted to share a little bit about what's been going on and what's happening next. So as you all know, I left Victoria, British Columbia, and I did a little tour through the United States. I stayed with some family in the Midwest for a few months, and during that time, there were times where finances were tight, and it took everything in my power to have faith that things were going to work out for me and to not fall into fear and just take any old job that came across my email, I really wanted to hold out for something amazing that felt really, really fun and incredible, and it felt exciting. And so during my visit to the Midwest, I didn't know where I was going to land. I wasn't sure if I was going to stay there and find, maybe a part-time job there. I have a lot of friends and family in Florida, so I thought maybe eventually I'll end up in Florida. But I really had no big plan. I was really just surrendering everything to the universe. And after doing Dr. Joe Dispenza's meditations consistently during this time, I had some really interesting events that occurred, which maybe I'll talk about in another video. But one of the things was one of my girlfriends that I hadn't spoke with in 20 years found my video on YouTube. And she contacted me and she said, we started talking, and she was great because she was the one person I could talk to about this stuff. Because a lot of times friends and family just think you're absolutely nuts. So they're like, okay, whatever. They just glaze over, and I don't even go there anymore unless they ask. So it was lovely having her to talk to and to be able to just decompress, because it is an interesting place to be in when your awareness changes and you're no longer that person that a lot of your friends and family may associate you with. You're not that person anymore. You don't relate to that person. You don't like doing the same things that person used to do. You're a different human altogether. And sometimes it's hard for people to understand that. So she was great. And during one of our conversations, I expressed to her, my concerns around finances, but I was torn, because I was really wanting to manifest financial freedom and being able to be free and move around and travel and not be confined to the 9 to 5, and to kind of break out of that cycle. And she was like, hey, Carrie, you know what? You should apply at this company that her and I were really into, because they specialize in modern spirituality. And they're a huge company in Boulder, Colorado. Some of you may be aware of them. I'm going to leave them nameless as of right now. But I ended up going, oh my God, I've been a huge fan of them for years. I'm going to do the thing. So I went ahead and applied out of blind faith. I took a leap. And the position I applied for, the salary, it was based with a commission. And the combination was more than I've ever made in my life. Probably about 4 times as much as I've ever made. And so I thought, you know what, this is just unlikely to happen, but I'm going to give it up to the universe. If it's meant to happen, it's meant to happen. And I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and I meditated. And I thought, I'm not settling, even though there were times when I thought, oh my gosh, I need a job. I'm not settling. The universe kept bringing me and supporting me. Things were occurring. Money was coming in. Friends and family where family was willing to help me. And, that was something that I'm really blessed with, is having those people that were willing to assist and that I could stay with for a little while until I got back on my feet. And then something amazing happened. 2 incredible offers. I had 2 incredible offers for employment. Both of them were more money than I've ever made in my entire life. Both were office jobs, so I was a little torn about that because it kind of went against my ideal situation, dream that I have envisioned. But the one was my dream job. At least I thought at the time. I thought it was my dream job. It ended up being crazy town. But I thought it was my dream job. And before I knew it, I had an interview. Maybe 4 or 6 weeks went by. I had an interview. After my phone interview, I ended up being flown out to Boulder, Colorado, and I got the job on the spot. And I mean, the red carpet was rolled out. I was able to stay in a luxury hotel, all comped by the company. I had a beautiful rental car. It was incredible. It was like I stepped into this dream life because I had been living codependently, first in a marriage I was very codependent in financially, and then I was being codependent with friends and family until I got back on my feet. So going from that to going, just having like the red carpet rolled out for you, for your dream job, I was overjoyed. So I was relocated out here with a very generous relocation package. I was so excited. I mean, overjoyed again. It was surreal. I got myself a really beautiful apartment in Broomfield, just outside of Boulder. Everything was working out for me. But deep in my heart, after I started that position, even though I love this company dearly and I love what they do, I knew that it wasn't meant for me. And it broke my heart because I wanted it to work so badly. I really wanted it to work. But after being in there, it didn't feel expansive. It didn't feel like that expansive opportunity I wanted to manifest. And the universe was initiating me, and I know that now, to see how bad I wanted the freedom. And this was like a really interesting step because not only it was probably one of the more challenging positions I've ever been in because of the environment. The environment wasn't exactly what I thought it was. And I won't get too much into that, but it ended up being quite chaotic and unpleasant, I would say. And during this time, I was meditating and I was envisioning a future where I was laying on a beach with the sun shining down on me, where I felt the freedom and I had the financial independence and financial security. Sorry, there's a creature coming at me over here. That I had the financial independence and freedom, and I was just envisioning the waves. I could hear the waves. I could feel the sun. The sun is really bright today, by the way. I could feel the sun beating down on my face. I could taste the, tropical beverage in my hand. And I just kept doing that and doing that and doing that. Even working at this job, and I thought, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know, I've seen how the universe can completely dissolve your entire reality once you decide you want something, you want a different reality. Once you decide that and you start really focusing on it and feeling the emotions behind it. I've seen that firsthand. Not always easy. Certainly not. But I just have faith that everything is going to work out. So within 3 months of working in this position, it did not feel expansive, like I said. It did not feel free. It was quite the opposite of that. It was one of those butts in seats kinds of mentalities, 9 to 5. It's really hard because those of you that have been watching me for a while probably remember old Loki Bear. And Loki had a little injury. And so he's doing really bad. He's doing so much better. He's eating flies and bugs right now. But he's doing so much better. He is a little freaked out by bugs. But he's walking now. And which is incredible. And a lot of you had asked about that. I have been doing quantum touch on him and some other treatments and time. Just time and love and care. And I even envisioned him walking. So that's a whole nother story I'll tell you guys about. So envisioning the freedom and the flexibility, and this job was the opposite of that, the antithesis of that. I thought, well, maybe I can do this for a year, save some money, and then maybe start my own thing. That's really what I want to do, is start my own business, do my own thing. Within 3 months, my boss abruptly leaves and quits. And she's the one that hired me. So it's like, oh wow, what's going to happen to our department? Well, our department quickly dissolved, ended up going under a different department. And I ended up having to work with a bunch of people that I wasn't initially what I signed up for, and it did not resonate with me. And so I was offered another position doing something similar where the pay would be a fraction of what I had initially been promised. And at that moment, I stepped into my power and I did something I've never done in my life, is I had self-worth. And I said, I'm not doing this job for that. This is not why I moved to Boulder, in a nicer way, of course, but in so many words, this is not what I came to Boulder, Colorado for. I would not have moved here for that amount of money. Is this negotiable? And I actually negotiated, and I did something I've never done in my life. So I felt that was a test of self-worth. And how bad do you want your financial, abundance? Was I willing to settle? No. I actually challenged it, and I said, hey, this is not what I wanted. It didn't end up going as well as I had hoped, but what ended up coming of it is this whole work situation ended up completely dissolving. I ended up getting laid off with a small severance, but I realized at the time, took a little bit of time, after I got over the emotional part of it, losing my dream job, I realized this was completely orchestrated by the universe, because the universe is trying to initiate me into my freedom, into my financial freedom. And I wasn't happy where I was, even though it was giving me that financial independence and security that I was really needing. So some really interesting things happened. One of the big things was a relocation, that nice relocation allowance that I was given. It was completely forgiven. I didn't have to pay it back. Initially, I would have had to pay that back. I would have had to work with the company for 2 years. Or if I left before that, I would have had to pay it back. They actually waived that, so that I don't have to pay that back. And I thought, wow, that's incredible, because it was a significant amount of money. It was one of the reasons, it was one of the things that kind of kept me in turmoil. It kept me going, oh, I have to stay here for at least 2 years. I'm never going to be able to pay that relocation back. So that was forgiven. And they gave me another amount of money, chunk of money, lump sum, what have you, so that I could relocate out of Boulder if I wanted to. And so that's exactly what I'm doing. So now I'm in a place where I've had about 3 new starts this year. Well, 2022. This is a whole new start. And guess where I'm heading? Heading to the beach, which I'm so freaking excited about. Heading to Jacksonville, Florida, where a lot of my friends, and I have some family sort of nearby, but a lot of my good friends are there. And it all worked out great. I have a condo that I can stay in. It's one of my girlfriend's investment condos until I get back on my feet again. And I also just, with that money that I received, was able to invest in a business opportunity. And so I am literally starting over again. And so what I wanted to say to you guys is, when you start these meditations, a lot of times it might seem that your world is literally crumbling around you, or that the universe has something against you, or that it really can feel that way sometimes, that maybe this is some sort of karma that's playing out in my life. Could be. Or it could be the universe initiating me into that financial freedom that I want so desperately. It's the universe granting me those wishes. But you don't just wake up one day and be on the beach and be financially independent. No, your current reality has to shift. It has to change. And sometimes those changes are not always so pleasant. Sometimes they can feel a little chaotic. And so the reason it's taken me some time to share this with you guys is, at first I did fall a little bit into victim mode. And I was like, what am I going to tell these people? They've been following me. They've been following my journey. But then I came to realize what it really is. It took a couple weeks of self-loathing, losing my dream job, all this stuff. But then I realized I didn't really want that job. That wasn't that wasn't where I wanted to be happy. And what I really want to manifest is joy, prosperity, financial freedom. Also, guys, all those health issues that I've had, they've mostly gone away with continuous meditation. I can tell when I stop meditating, some of the pains do come back. But I know that I'm on my way to health and freedom and just wholeness and well-being. One other thing I wanted to share with you guys is I know there's so much crazy chaos going on in the world, and it's hard to actually think about ourselves. It feels almost selfish right now with everything that's happening in the Ukraine. One thing I wanted to share with you guys is we all know how to do this work. We know how to change realities. We know how to shift and change paradigms. I want to just encourage everyone to focus on the outcome that we want to see for humanity. Focus on peace, focus on love, envision all those beautiful Ukrainians and everyone in the Ukraine being freed and just feeling free and feeling like a sense of relief that it's over. Some people might think that's a little crazy or a little irresponsible, like let's take to the streets. And sometimes that, obviously that's all very impactful as well. But if we lose hope, I believe we're going to lose all of our chance at really making this reality what it could potentially be. So in your meditations, spend some time focusing on that outcome that you want to see for humanity. That peaceful, harmonious outcome. It may take us some time to get there, and we're going to be initiated into it, which may not feel so pleasant at times. But just know and just have faith that on the other side of this, there can be peace, there can be harmony, there can be world peace. I hope that resonates with some of you guys out there, and I hope you guys are doing well. I missed you so much. Anyway, I'll catch up with you guys in Florida. Take care. Bye.